weren't we just here?
I think Ed just flashed us backwards or something.
You bet your sweet bippy I did.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to seeing if I can beat Plants vs. Zombies 2 with only primal plants. Now, as for last episode, we debated whether or not I would be using animal-like plants more as compared to actual primal plants, but ultimately we ended up agreeing on mostly on the premise of what the challenge would actually be, and focusing on plants that are more beast-like, which may or may not be using primal plants, but largely just focusing on more so the beast aspect of the plan. In other words, primal plants like PRIMALS sunflower are going to be allowed for sun production days, but I'm largely going to hold off on using them super commonly as to not make the challenge too easy, as the primal potato mine is easily one of the best plants in the entire game. Moving on, so what we're actually going to be doing is moving forward with Toadstool when I decided to bring it, and Kiwi Beast. So, moving through Pirate Seas, since both of those are only conditional plants, I had a plant I could add to the team permanently, and decided on Primal Pea Shooter, as not only is it a much needed ranger, but I also think it's important to start using at least one of the 4 primal plants that are actually called primal plants pretty consistently now. That being said, Primal Pea Shooter is a pretty competent plant with its ability to stall a zombie whenever it hits them, and also has a chance to knock them back when it hits them too. And with that being said, I didn't really have any problems making my way through the rest of Pirate Seas, and as I've been talking, I've just been showing me just blasting my way through the days of Pirate Seas with absolutely no issues, as Primal Pea Shooter was just a great fit for this world. We of course added primal sunflowers for the handfuls of sun production days, but ultimately there just really wasn't all that much to say, even at the Imp Cannon day that's notoriously difficult on day 22, as unlike with the other challenges I've done, with both Kiwi Beast and Primal Pea, they didn't really stand a chance. The only day that proposed a kind of difficulty was on day 24, where we are to protect 2 spring beans, and they had the danger of falling asleep while a seagull zombie tries to eat them. Fortunately, this is fixable with a simple primal pea and some plant food, and all we had to do left was shoot our load on Dr. Zomboss, and we were done with Pirate Seas. The Wild West started out the exact same way Pirate Seas ended, with me relishing in the profound power of the Primal Pea Shooters, though, given what is in store for later days of this world, this was likely going to change. Well, more accurately, the earlier days of Wild West, as the minor zombies are going to be a slight issue jumping behind our lines and traveling the other way. But fortunately, since Kiwi Beast attacks in all directions, if we have one that's fully leveled up, it can stomp out miners before they even have a chance to get a bite in. And if we have 2 rows of Primal Pea Shooters, that's usually enough to stall a powerfully armored zombie indefinitely, meaning we already have sizable counters to all the nonsense poncho zombies have in store for us here, and can even shove back the massive pianos. Overall, early game, as long as we kept fighting diligently with Primal Peas, and keeping an eye on our back lanes with Kiwi Beasts, usually in minecarts, we were first trying pretty much every day, and even some were getting pretty close. Day 7 just had a composite ton of armor, but fortunately their rolls of fat were no match for me throwing large rocks at them, and the day ends the same as all the others so far have. Day 8 was the ultimate battle wave. I often play Doorman and Deadlock simply because it allows me to be a horrible person and usually get away with it too. Day 9, pre-picked plants, Primal Pea Shooter programmed and planted a thermonuclear bomb somewhere in the digital circus and refuses to tell me where it is or when it will go off. Day 10 introduced the zombie that is being jockeyed by chickens, and normally they will drop a horde of chickens as soon as they take damage. However, they don't do this when they're stunned, and since every single one of Primal Pea Shooter's attacks are a stunning attack, it can essentially safely assassinate them without any issue.
Say it anyway. You stuck your neck out for me. I don't forget
Day 11 was spend no more than 500 sun, but fortunately with so far all of my plant picks being above average cost for above average functionality, a single Kiwi Beast and Primal Pea Shooter dealt with it just fine. Day 12, something about Primal Sunflower firing a rocket launcher at a food court, and it's on day 13 where I decide to add the next permanent member to the team, who we have definitely seen before in the Parasites Only playthrough, being Snake Lily, who fires a tornado at an incoming and nearby zombie, turning them into a variant of Soybean zombie. The range on these things are pretty weak, but they have a really fast recharge time on their attack relative to what they actually do, being an instant KO for most zombie types. They aren't exactly what I would call overpowered, as their ability 100% can work against them, especially considering they don't always attack what's right in front of them, causing them to end their own lives, and it can also work against me like in the case of accidentally activating a chicken zombie before Primal Pea has a chance to murder them. Though, even though it may not be the ideal plant for this world, it was definitely a good idea to acquire the Primal Hypnotic Snake early on. Anyways, moving on, we were still advancing forward greatly well, completing the next several days fine. Up until day 16, where I forgore about the walnut I was supposed to protect, leading me to my first loss in quite a while, as I had just been blazing right through these days. Anyways, we give it a second shot and are able to get through it just fine. Day 17 was don't trample the flowers, but so far pretty much every single one of my plants were made for this fight, with Snake Lily and Kiwi Beast being close quarters champions, and Primal P pushing everything it hits back. Day 18 was a prepare your defenses, which I failed the first time, as I forgore about Chicken Jockey. I failed the second time as well, with once again Chicken Zombie getting activated, and instantly bringing about the end times, even with Primal P. And as you might have guessed, Day 18 was a little bit rough, which isn't too unbelievable, as I had issues with it, even when I was doing my Summoners playthrough so far, my most OP roster, but fortunately we were eventually able to get through it by using nothing but Kiwi Beast, and playing it as obnoxiously safely. Day 19 was spend no more than 2,000 sun and don't lose 3 plants. A row of Primal Peas, a Snake Lily, and a Kiwi Beast for the back lane, and we get it the first try no issue. Day 20, you can't prove anything, you have absolutely no evidence I was connected to those murders.
Burger.
Day 21 was the next one I failed, being a protect from trampling flowers, but I didn't get the sleight of hand memo about the minor zombies because I forgore. Fortunately, I had the right idea in mind and didn't have to change my initial idea from just spamming Snake Lilies, as there was nothing protecting the minor zombies, and no chicken zombies either. Day 22, survive with the given plants. Everybody skip like several seconds after I finish explaining this, and then leave a timestamp all at the same time in the comments sections, pretending I said something really random and bizarre there, so everybody who clicks the timestamp gets really confused. Day 23 looks a little bit intimidating, especially with all the chickens, but when you swivel it down to just using primal pea shooters, and just punching through all of your rocks, we get it through the first try. Day 24 was another day I lost twice, both of which being me just rage restarting because I didn't get an optimal opening play on both tries. Could I have probably just played through both of them and won just fine? Yeah, but in the event that I couldn't, I would have then had the crushing reality that I wasted slightly more time on it than I needed to, and I would never forgive myself for that. And with day 25 being to convince Zomboss's cow furry girlfriend to leave him, we were done with the Wild West. And on to Frostbite Caves we go. In my opinion, the hardest of the first worlds, and where we actually need to start getting real. We get to add another member to the team permanently too now, but I wanted to wait until a little bit later on to make my decision. For now, I was just content with the 3 plants that I had. Anyways, Frostbite Caves isn't hard due to its zombies, for the most part at least. Rather, it's the ice and the fact that since most challenges you don't have any heating plants, or plants that are immune to ice, that you have to consistently either dig up or use other plants to smash the ice around your own, or risk losing the ability to plant on entire lanes and columns, and potentially getting ruined before you even realize what's happened. The good news is we have a plant that is great at breaking ice, being a fully leveled Kiwi Beast that can hit everything around it. Meaning as long as I have 2 fully grown ones in separate lanes, I am mostly protected from the nonsense of the ice. And that factored in with early game for most worlds being relatively easy. The opening days, regardless of it, they had some requirements or not, went off without a hitch for me in Frostbite Caves. And although Kiwi Beast was the main and best icebreaker, Snake Lily zombies are not only good for breaking ice really fast, but they also shoot their tornadoes at the ice that does a good amount of damage to them, which granted isn't as fast of an icebreaker, but it's definitely helpful. I'm glad we brought this thing that hypnotizes and then devours small children with us, as it's proving to be an invaluable ally. Eventually, after punching through almost halfway through the Frostbite Caves to wreck, I eventually make a decision on Dragon Brute that will bust its high damage attack over in any ice block. Instead of forcing us to shoot or bite through all the nonsense, both the weather and the hunter zombie snowballs are going to leave behind. Plus it's ranged and shoots in 3 whole lanes, and even leaves behind 3 single shooter plants when it dies, so it's in contest with Snake Lily for being one of the best early game plants that I can choose from. Day 15, we get to make use of Pepper Pulse Heat in order to keep our AoE plants up. For once, I don't slip up though and lose this one for the first time due to a Pepper Pulse dying, as once again we have Snake Lily and Kiwi Beast. Day 16 was the ultimate battle wave. Fun fact, ignore the haters, human flesh is perfectly fine to consume.
Quit having fun!
Day 17, we didn't really need to, but I made use of the frozen fume shrooms and charred guards on the other lanes. Overall, once again it was a stomp. Day 18 was a conveyor belt asking me calmly yet firmly to not light people on fire anymore. I didn't oblige. And Day 19 was a most plants picked mission. Basically, we only get 2 or 3 seat slots for the day instead of me choosing my whole roster, but since I only have 4 plants I'm using right now anyways, it's not a problem. Day 20 isn't the day they were introduced, I don't think, but a handful of troglodytes showed up, so we make sure to put Snake Lily and Kiwi Beast to work so they can rapidly break down the ice imps working together. Day 21 was shut up, that's what Day 21 was. Day 22, some ferret zombies showed up, which are basically weaker variants of the chicken zombies, as although they're physically stronger than chickens, they are also slower and less in number. In other words, Kiwi Beast is a more than appropriate solution to them. Day 23 helps some charred guards get hard. This one isn't hard, and nor are the charred guards, mainly just making sure that we keep the weasels off of the charred guards and we should be fine. Day 24 is the biggest red herring with my challenges, as the sun production makes you think that this is going to be an easy day because I'm allowed to bring a sun plant, but you quickly realize that the winds here are the worst in the entirety of Frostbite Caves, with plants getting frozen literally every few seconds. Fortunately, unlike my other challenges, though, Kiwi Beast has proven to be a great improvised heater, and we were able to get it on our 3rd try. Day 25 was another conveyor belt. Ew, cringe!
Kill time before my next class with that fucking whore bitch Miss Ames.
Oh yeah, I have her too.
Yeah, she's okay.
Day 26 had some frozen sun shrooms on the corner, so we made sure to get a Kiwi Beast up to break them, and with just a little extra capital those two gave me, we were able to blast through this world effortlessly. Day 27 sees a protection of an amount of rutabagas, but the actual danger of this comes towards the end, where 2 gargantuars show up and try to throw it back in your face. Fortunately, I had planned so many dragon brutes, and all of them shelling the garg at once was just enough to take out both of them as they came in. Day 28, the only unique thing about this day was that another Gargantuar came, but this time around he wasn't even on the path of something I needed to protect, so he was finished off pretty effortlessly, even without using the mower. And with Day 29 being to survive with a given plant hussy, and my only other job being to commit poaching right in front of Dr. Zombas, we were done with Frostbite Caves, and I decided to call it here, as we have made great progress and finished 3 whole worlds, with the rest of this challenge looking pretty optimistic. We were likely going to have a fair amount of challenge left, but so far it was looking pretty good, and I was interested in the ways that we plants would synergize with it. But if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, please leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts as well as what you'd like to see next, both Plants vs. Zombies and otherwise. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing, as among my channels, I upload new long-form content every week, as well as new shorts every other day encapsulating variety content, including challenges, guides, memes, audience participation, playthroughs, and even theories. Also, join the Discord with the link in the description as well as the pinned comment to become part of the show. But with all that being said, thank you all again so much for watching, and big thank you to my channel and Patreon members, and I will see you all next time.